Hello, and here we have yet another change of pace in Nathan's garage. Now that the truck, which is over there, because she parks in the street, because she's the daily right now, which is awesome, because she's the daily, the Saab that has been so dependable for the past 8 years. Anybody wants a Saab, buy one, they're amazing. Has a few oil leaks and a few little things that we've got to prettify to get her for sale, because we have no money to buy the next truck. So today we're going to start on the, I always love that, when you're trying to get something at the beginning of a show and somebody drives past and or rides past and makes you feel like the freak you are. Anyway, back to the Saab. We're going to do a cam cover gasket because I looked online and there's loads of cam cover gasket replacement guides for the earlier up to 2002 9.3 turbos, but the 03 onwards, there's nothing out there. So it should be pretty simple. I'm quite sure there'll be a few things that I'll want to snap, which I'll probably snap, and a few bolts that'll probably get lost and blah da blah da blah as per usual. But we'll get on with it and see how simple it really is. Just so you can see how I came to the diagnosis of the cam cover gasket. She's oily. Okay, so on the top we're going to start with those Torques, and then spark plugs are underneath there, and then we've got a bunch of 10s around the side. So that's going to be the general order of play to begin with. So these Torques for the plug cover are the size of the Torques is a 30. It's times like this when there's lots of oil is when it is confirmed to me that I much prefer fabrication as opposed to fixing. I prefer making over fixing. So I'm bent over, bad back. Okay, there we have the plugs. Now, to get the cover off, the coil packs are going to have to come off. The kit that actually got it from AutoZone, has some weird little O-rings, and there's all sorts of extras included, as well as the the big exterior one which is actually leaking. So I'm intrigued just to see what they're for. So right now, because I'm a bit of a wirophobe, I'm going to write the number of the coil packs. I know the wiring makes it really simple because the wires are all the proper length, but tape it, put a mark on it. Okay, so just for my reference, because I'm going to forget this when I come back and have to watch this film again, 1 is at this end, passenger side. You know what I'm going to do that I actually forgot to do? I'm going to disconnect the battery because I'll be super professional, which I'm not usually. There you go. Super pro. We've got a breather at the rear passenger side. Come off. I'm quite sure that's welded itself on because it's been on there for like 10 years, 12 years, no, 2003, 13 years. My wife bought this car brand new at the end of 2002. It came off nice and easy. Nice. Fords don't do that. Fords weld themselves together. So, I think a long 10 for the to hold the for these two here that holds this wiring loom going down to these two very big important looking clips there. Okay, so we'll leave that there. So that nut doesn't want to come off the top of the thread. So I don't. I'm very good at losing things, very good at dropping things. So I don't do that. Thinking about buying one of these, buy 'em. Retractable magnet. Best thing ever. Best thing ever. Best thing ever. So now, can we lift this? Do we want to lift this? Not yet. So, plastic extends around the side. Let's undo that one. Again, sat on top of the thread. Magnet. Boom. So, there's a little more looseness in it. Oh, there's a lot more looseness in it. So this is that held under. Fuck. That is not what you want to hear. Because what just happened then is something fell down and he didn't hit the fucking ground. Bastard. Ha, I see it. This is why we bought magnets. Boom. You don't actually have to move this, but, and I'm quite sure some mechanics out there who've done this a million times would be like, yeah, you don't need to do that, but I've got to admit, I really don't mind a little bit of extra space when doing stuff like this, especially when it's on the top of an engine and something, and lots of crap can fall in. So that's away now. This is the coolant temp sensor, I'm pretty sure, so I'm just gonna, I'll take 2 seconds to pull that out. There we go, that'll give us a bit. So let's move that back, and we've got a bit more room now. So looks like we're starting. Look at that. So we've got a bolt underneath there. So this is the injector rail, 2 bolts which supply the fuel, and that is attached to the actual cam cover itself, so we need to move that. And tilt your axis, and we need a short one, not a long one. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to whip the top of the airbox off because it'll take 2 seconds and it'll just get this out of the way. This, I'll be able to have more clearance. Will I? Ah, fine. I think. Maybe. Okay, so that's the 2 bolts that hold the fuel rail on that go around the side. So that's movable now. Need more movement than that though. Yeah, it's gonna lean on it a little. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to uncrack the cam cover bolts. They're not super tight. I'm just going to uncrack them evenly as I go around. And I'm not doing a cross pattern or anything because they're not that tight, but I just don't want to leave them tightened up. So it looks like we've got a ground there, a ground stud. I assume that's a mount, so that's, don't forget that on that side there. Go back to it. See, when you build your own stuff, you build it with the clearance that you need, and you also build it with the engine in the right direction, because the engines go front to back as opposed to flipping side to side. I don't like engines that go side to side. I only like engines that go front to back. It makes sense to me. This doesn't make sense. Okay, so they're all cracked now. So we shall, slowly but surely, remove. You know what? Hey, oh, I'm gonna break out the trusty automatic hand. I thought I'd lost my end, but I hadn't. Found it. Never lose your end. Woo. You know what? I don't know how these bolts. I don't know what these bolts are going to look like when they come out. I'm gonna get some cardboard, draw the shape of the cam cover, and then put these bolts exactly where they were. Cardboard. Cam cover. Just don't kick it when you put all the bolts down, which I probably will do. But they all seem to be the same right now. I didn't know that before I did it. And I'm not usually this prepared. I'm usually very good at losing bolts. Oh, my back! Remember as well, when you put tools on top of your battery, make sure you don't make a connection and blow shit up. No! Oh, I think it fell on the floor. Ah! Hey. Oh! Ah! Ah! Best sound ever. Well, worst feeling ever, losing a bolt. Best sound ever when it hits the floor. That one's not for coming out, so if it's off the thread, should be able to lift the cam cover off with it in place anyway. So now I realise that I think a lot of the little O-ring looking things are these O-rings on the bolts that are in the kit. They're new. You know what? I think we are ready. So I see a little bit of a gap here already. So long screwdriver, fairly wide. Let's see if we can just twist it here. Little bit of movement. Oh, she popped. She popped. We have liftoff. Okay, on some sort of like Superman rig right now, so I can lie over and I can use both hands to lift this up. It's all dirty. It's all dirty. Oh, she came up a little more. See, I'm not going to be using any sealer on it, so it doesn't have to go straight back down super quick. So a lack of access isn't too bad right now. Like if it was the case of me having to use like black Permatex on it or something like that, I'd want it a really clear area so I could just drop it straight back down and wouldn't end up dropping shit down anywhere. It's important. Oh, there we go. There we go. Now, so we're just looking for, I don't want to drop anything into the engine now, obviously. Nobody ever does. Nobody ever wants to. Okay, come on. Come on, play. So, what we call... There is a lot of stuff that wants to stop this coming out. Oh, let's go this way. So it's hitting the turbo heat shield right now. So I'll loosen these two bolts, see if we can just lift this turbo heat shield up just a touch. So I think, obviously you've got pulleys at this end and stopping the cam cover going that way. So we need to lift it up directly. Quiet. There's a bracket holding the fuel pipes that's just making my life out. I don't want to create a leak on the actual fuel rail. Obviously. You know what? How are you doing, Rob? Good, thank you. So that's the bracket that's holding the fuel rail. So that's got O-rings, so there is play in it, but the bracket that's holding the fuel rail is fairly thin, so I've just bent that back a little bit. So we can get some clearance for this to come straight up. Okay, so yeah, I have to take this airbox off. Really quickly, is it all torqued really? Oh, I thought it'd have some clips or something, you know? It's a clip and you're out the way, but obviously not. Torques for the airbox are at 25 size. Bollocks. I nearly just kicked my drawing from a cam cover. Nearly. All the bolts seem to be the same. So as I say, there will be guys out there that can do this, removing a lot less stuff. But for now, we'll do it this way. How dirty is the air filter? How bad of an owner am I? Fair to middling. Ooh, and there she is. Okay, so. Hey! Oh, she's so pretty and she's so clean. So pretty, she's so clean. Car's done 147, 148,000. You can see a touch of wear on the cam lobes, but I've never had this top end off before, so I'm very intrigued. You know, I probably should have pressure washed the engine before I did this, because there's definitely want to clean the mating area, the mating surface, before I put it back, and it's going to take some time now. Cleaning time. Here we go, cam cover off. So you have the basic cam cover bolts, 2 for this wiring loom there, 1 there. You got the earth that went to the center set of bolts. You got 2 screws there that hold on the fuel rail. Got a breather at the back there. Took the 2 turbo guard bolts off just to get a little bit of extra play. Took the air boot out so you can just bend it out the way. There's the connection for it. And that's pretty much it. It's tight, but that is what you've got to undo to get the cam cover off. So there's the bolts in place. 2 are still in the cover there. So let's see what we got with the cover. So there's the kit. Those are those, obviously, and then those on the bolts. That's what the underneath, lighting's probably pretty bad, but that's what the underneath of the cam cover looks like. So I've spun the cam cover around so we can now see it, and this is very, very interesting. So majority actual seal itself, nice and bendy until you get to this point right here, and then hard as a rock, absolutely hard as a rock. And what's right there, the turbo. So all the heat from the turbo goes to that point, and the cam cover hits that rubber, goes super hard, and then pours oil down the back of the engine. So far, when putting everything back together, a little issue I'm having is when I undid the bolts, the washers wound themselves onto the top of the thread and then kind of locked halfway down the shaft. So, you know, you can just turn it a couple of times and they will free themselves back up, so you've got more thread to play with. Because the actual cam cover itself, can you see that the little cutout there? Now the new rubber is making the cam cover itself sit tall, so it's not going down far enough to slide over to the right. Now when that washer is halfway down the shaft, you can see the holes aren't quite centered. When that washer is halfway down the shaft, it doesn't give you enough thread to actually start it, because the washer is hitting the cam cover before it's actually starting on the threads. So what I've done is, as I say before, loosened the washer so there's more thread to start the actual bolt with, and then that will gradually start to tighten down the cam cover, and then it will move to the right slightly. And look at that, lovely and clean, perfect. So there we go, and as all good TV shows say, reassembly is just disassembly in reverse. Ta-da! And of course, I did lose a Torx drive that I thought I'd left in the engine until the last minute, but then I realised it was back in the socket set. I never put things back, so why I would put that one thing back, who knows. So that's it really, super simple, just keep an order of everything and you are good to go. So in the next couple of days this needs a O2 sensor after the cat, so I should get that ordered and that will be next on the video list. Thanks for watching, see you next time.